A win's a win. A win is a win. We didn't play great today. We didn't play great at all in terms of offensively, in terms of special teams, but we got it done. That's all that matters. I'm not giving this game back. It was the same thing I told you guys for the Northern Iowa game. The same thing I told you guys for Purdue. We're not giving this victory back. The scoreboard says 14-7. Nebraska got it done. We'll talk about everything that happened because honestly, there are a lot of negatives from this game. It was a really, really sloppy game for Nebraska. But let's start it off with the positives. The defense showed up today. Tony White showed up today. Our D-line showed up today. So many game balls to give out when it comes to this defense. But, right off the bat, I thought James Williams was phenomenal. 2 sacks. He had a pressure on that last play to secure the win for Nebraska. Buy James Williams stock right now because he was great for the Huskers. This entire defensive line showed out. Ty Robinson, really, really good day. That Jamari played well at times. So it was really impressive, this defensive line. In general, the defense was great. Secondary with 2 interceptions. So you're right with that. I don't know how he came down with that interception that he had. Entire defense, again, really, really good day. They should have had a shutout. The only reason they didn't have a shutout today is because they were on the field constantly in that second half. Of course, they're going to give up points when they're gassed. Again, this offense did not do them any favors. So defense, right off the bat, really, really good performance for Nebraska, no question about it. Again, we were giving them different looks throughout the game as well. It wasn't like, we were giving them the same front, the same 3-3-5. Like we would have 4 guys in the box every now and then. We'd, switch our guys on the defensive line. So we really gave them problems. Kyle Monaghan did not really have that good of a game from what we expected him to have. So I was really impressed with the defense in general. They showed up, man. And I was watching College Game Day this morning, and that was something that Kirk Herbstreit was talking about. He said, I think Nebraska's going to win because their defense is finally going to show up. That's what they did. So defense played really, really well today for the Huskers. Now let's talk about the offense, guys, because it was not awesome. Again, Dylan Raiola, let's talk about his stat line. He completed less than 50% of his passes today. Really, really poor second half. Really, really poor game in general. Now, the offense did not do him any favors. The offensive line did not do him any favors. The play calling did not do him any favors. But Dylan, we need to expect a little bit better from Dylan. Again, this guy's a generational prospect. We didn't want to refer to him as a freshman. It was a freshman moment. Not his best game, but I'm not really going to blame him when it comes to this offense. The play calling was anemic in the second half. We had I want to say we had 6 straight punts. We had about 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs. Could not do anything right on offense, guys. And this is a common day. I told you guys that we need to be concerned about Marcus Satterfield just because, yes, I think when you're scripting those drives, especially those, that first quarter, second quarter, yeah, you can get down the field pretty easily. But when it comes to the second half, that's when our offense really, really stalls out. And we saw it once again. A really poor performance by the offense in general. We could have wrapped up this game, in the second quarter. We could have wrapped up this game in the third quarter. Didn't do it. We went down to the final drive, but I know a lot of people in chat are already saying, yeah, we finally won a close game. There we go. We finally won a 1-score game. Now, this is not technically, I wouldn't say it was a huge 1-score victory because we were dominating them the entire ball game. We just couldn't ever pull away. Brett, thank you for the super chat, $5. He says, number 1, Bama falls to Vanderbilt, man. Shout out to Vandy. I don't know if any of you guys watch SEC Shorts on YouTube. Me and my dad are watching all those videos, but they're going to have a great video on Monday. I'm talking about that victory. That's a great win for them, man. That is a great, great victory for them. Vince. So Vince was in my live chat yesterday. I predicted a loss. I'm going to eat crow on this one, guys. I was wrong. But first off, I didn't expect this defensive line or this defense in general play as good as they did. That's number 1. Number 2, well, I also didn't expect this offense play as bad. So, yeah, we won. I thought we would have – this is weird to phrase. I thought we would have played better and lost. We played worse than I expected, and we won. It's not always a bad thing, though. It's not always a bad thing for Nebraska. I was telling my dad, we're playing Iowa football. Okay, it's not pretty. It's not when you're not good offensively, but Iowa always finds ways to win these close ball games. That's what we're doing right now. So that's okay. Okay, you'll take this victory. You're not giving it back. You're 5-1 at the end of the day. Let's talk about the special teams because holy cow, the special teams is a joke. Now we did not attempt a field goal today. Good news. Yeah, I did not want to see John Hall out there. I told you guys that throughout the week. Like if we have a 4th down, I want to go for it because I trust Raiola's arm. I trust our offense. more than I trust our special teams. Now, I'm not saying I trust the offense at all, but that's just how bad our special teams has been. Also, holy cow, that punt block, we knew that was coming. That was predictable. Now, Brian Buschini had a really good day punting the football when he was not pressured. Again, he had a couple just bullets down the field, and he's banged up. He got injured because of that punt block. So, again, Ed Foley, he needs to go at this point in time. I mean, again, I was not on that train. I didn't want to be on that train, but Ed Foley is so bad. The special team's so bad. Again, there's nothing they do well on special teams. There's not a single thing we do well. So for that reason, man, I don't know. We really got to get rid of Ed Foley. And we're going to a bye week. So if there's any time to make that move, it's now. Now, I'm not sure if you – personally, the way I want to go about this is that you demote Ed Foley down to basically an analyst role. You might promote somebody up. Hey, Bill Bush, still living in Lincoln, man. This special teams is really bad for Nebraska. Again, this is one of those games where it's a story of missed opportunities. Yes, we won. That is a positive development because, the old Nebraska of old under Scott Frost would have lost this football game. We would have found a way to lose. So it's a positive development that we won, but there's still so many things that we are doing poorly because we could have dominated this game. We could have beat them by a couple scores. We could have beat them by a couple touchdowns. And yet it went down to the final 2 minutes where we had to get a big defensive stand to win. That's a problem. That is a problem. Again, our defense played lights out today. Lights out. And I know some people are going to go on Marquez Buford because he had a really poor game, in my opinion. But he was gassed. This entire defense was gassed. They were on the field 24/7. Of course he's going to be struggling in that fourth quarter. Of course Marquez Buford is going to be giving up a big play because he was gassed. He was on the field 24/7 because his offense would not have a successful drive. So really was disappointed with our offense today. Again, one thing I don't get, we are so talented offensively. 5-star quarterback, multiple 4-star wide receivers, Jamal Banks, guy who should be already in the NFL, Isaiah Nayer, a guy who we've seen how talented he is. We have a really good offense in terms of talent. I truly do not believe we're utilizing our talent as good as we really should. Now, what should we do to change that? I'm not sure. But it starts back with our scheme, running the football down their throat. Like a lot of times when we run the football very well in that first half, we'll start to go away from it, and it won't find success in the second half, and we have nowhere to pivot. And that happened, and then you see all the 3-and-outs that start to happen. So really frustrating offense from a very talented, very talented offensive unit. The play calling is horrendous, and again, that falls on the coaching staff. Like I told you guys, I want to say in my Sunday video last week, I'm more prone to blame the coaching staff just because they're the ones getting paid millions of dollars to be here, right? They wouldn't be here if it weren't for that check. These players, a lot of times, again, they choose to be here. They choose to commit to Nebraska. So, again, the coaching staff, they're the ones getting paid millions. Mars, I appreciate the super chat, $2. He says, do I buy a Buschini jersey? Absolutely. He's our MVP today, man. He really is. He really is our MVP besides him and James Williams. Give those two men your flowers because they had really good days for Nebraska. But, yeah, again, Ed Foley, really bad. The only guy, again, Brian Buschini is basically saving his name, saving his legacy. Adam says, Raiola was very concerning in the second half. I mean, the entire game. On the day, he threw for less than 50% through the air. Again, one interception. That interception was horrific. Did not throw for a touchdown pass. So I thought Raiola really struggled today. Again, there's a million things to blame. Do we blame the offensive line? Do we blame the play calling? Do we blame just Raiola making a bad decision? I don't know. But what I will say about this, I know there's a lot of people going to defend Raiola. We try to hold him to a different standard because he's a generational prospect. He's a 5-star. He's not a typical freshman. So I don't want to hear, oh, he's just a freshman, go easy on him. Like he struggled today. But what does this mean going forward? I think he's going to be fine because he's a very talented quarterback, and he's still better than any quarterback we've had in the last 10 years. So it's not too much of a big deal. But, yeah, he played really bad. I think he held this offense back. But this offense in general held itself back. Just a poor performance. And, again, a game defined by missed opportunities, but we found a way to win. That's positive. That's something I want you to remember, right? Again, the Nebraska teams of old would have lost this football game. We would have found a way to lose. We did not lose. We sell a bunch of missed opportunities. We're not perfect. We're so far from being perfect, but we won. We won. That's the importance, guys. Oh, Rory says that throw by Buschini, dime, quarterback 5. Yeah, I wasn't even watching that play because I had my head down in the stands. I was so mad after another 3 and out. And Buschini Yeah, absolute dime to Jalen Lloyd. Yeah, man, that was a gutsy call. That could have been like the Northwestern 2021 onside kick that failed. That could have failed. We could have really reaped not the benefits, but a lot of the bad stuff that came from it. But ended up being a big completion, big first down. But it was gutsy. Josh's Sear balled again today too. Yeah, Sear's really good. We need to give him respect. Marquise Buford, I would probably move him back to safety if I had the option. Let's give Hartsock another opportunity at the opposite corner spot. But yeah, Sear, right, really, really good. And Tommy Hill, by the way, he's going to be back for the Indiana game in 2 weeks. So we'll be all right in that position. We will be all right. Dallas is, there's no way Foley continues. I think there is a way. I think Matt Rhule's not going to fire one of his buddies in the middle of the season. Unfortunately. Again, I wouldn't personally, if I were in his shoes, I probably would say, hey, Ed, I'm going to demote you over to an analyst, but Matt Rhule is his own man. He's his own coach. He can make the decision. This guy says, Washington should have beat Rutgers this week. Rutgers should have beaten Nebraska. Go figure. In the words of the late Oakland Raiders, Al Davis, just win, baby. Yeah, man, I completely agree. Completely agree. And you just find ways to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It doesn't matter what the game actually looks like. If you got the W at the end of your name on the scoreboard, all that matters. It's all people are going to remember. So just win. We didn't play great, and we won. There's been a lot of games in the past where we played good, in my opinion, but we didn't win. At least we have that victory because that's the only thing that matters. This guy says, where's Bly Hill? Well, Bly Hill is clearly not good enough to play. I mean, that's really the scenario. I saw that Jeremiah Charles was the guy checking in. So basically the corner rotation went number 1 Sear right, number 2 Marcus Buford, number 3 Jeremiah Charles, number 4 Amari Sanders. So Bly Hill's is buried in that depth chart, man. Buried in that depth chart. Oh, I'm trying to get all the way back. Tom, thank you for your chat. He says, defense played great. Too bad so many don't put their trust in Coach White. I assume you're going to say, yeah. Tony White really, really called a really great game plan today. He should be a head coach. We've been singing his praise for a long time. The defense showed out in a big way. Midget Shaver says, defense came out with their A game. Yeah, man, your son played very, very well today. Very well. He had a big stop. I want to say second down, first down, really plugged the hole. So, yeah. I bet against this team, so no problem picking them to lose. You bet against Nebraska, you bet against Rutgers. I would never throw money down on Nebraska, period. We're so unpredictable, man. We're so unpredictable. Grant says, I saw Mazuka on the bench. I thought he wasn't with the team. He is back with the team, and he was on the field a little bit on special teams plays. I put him in, I want to say, on 3rd and 4th down. Jackson says, because Dylan played like crap. Again, let's not blame Dylan, number one, for the offense's ineptitude. Like it was a team effort on offense. Everybody played poor. The offensive line played poor. This play calling was poor. Honestly, the wide receivers did not get open a lot of times. But I think the main thing that we should blame is the play calling. The play calling was really, really, really bad. Dylan didn't play well. Wilson wants to hold the team to higher standards. Yeah, exactly. Like it just depends on how good you want this team to be. Okay, if you are fine with winning 6-7 games, you can be just happy about this victory, not complain about anything, not critique anything, and that's okay. And that's okay to only want 6 or 7 wins. But if you want this team to compete for potentially the Big Ten, compete for 8-9 wins, then you can be a little bit more critical about what's going on the field. Like, I thought we played good today, but I'm still not convinced we're a good team. Still not convinced we're a good team. We won today, but I'm still not convinced we're a good team. We beat a good team. Rutgers didn't play very well either. That's the big talking point on their fan base. They think they played garbage. So, Vincent Shaver says, everybody like the video. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Dallas says, weird that Jamari gives up the number 1 jersey. Yeah, he wanted to go back to 10. That was his favorite number. He wanted to go back to that. No big deal. It's not like it's not like a single digit was taken away from him. That's not what happened. Josh says, Raiola struggle could be attributed to high wind today. I don't really think it was that issue. Like, the footwork was bad. He was not stepping into his throws. Somebody also texted me and they said maybe Raiola is injured. That was a little bit of concern a couple weeks ago that Raiola banged up his shoulder in practice. Now, I haven't really heard anything about that since then, but there is a possibility that Raiola is a little banged up. Okay, I'm not going to speculate that because I don't know that for a fact. Again, I heard about that about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so probably recovered from it. But, yeah, he could be banged up. Did I see vintage shavers also wearing one, or am I crazy? Yes. So Jamari Butler went from 1 to 10. Vintage shavers went from 10 to 1. So they traded. Fair, but he didn't lose the game for us. I think you're talking about Raiola. Yeah, you're right. Again, Raiola did not play great, but I'm not going to blame Raiola for how bad our offense played. He just fact. He did not play good. That's a fact. He had he completed less than 50% of his passes, so he was not great. Jackson says Jamari wanted to come back. Yep, exactly. You're correct. Vincent Shavers played. Yeah, Vincent Shavers played very well. I thought the linebackers in general played pretty well. John Bullock had another good game. Vincent Shavers played well. Stephon Thompson was okay at times. So in general, again, this defense was really, really phenomenal. The only time where I was like, dang, this defense is not playing great was that one drive with where Marcus Buford just gave up big play after big play. And they honestly should have. We were lucky. We're lucky that Rutgers didn't have that big touchdown catch to the end zone. We are lucky to this day. And we're lucky they missed that field goal as well. Like, this could have been a completely different ball game if Rutgers didn't make a lot of mistakes. So sometimes you got to get lucky to win close games. We were a little lucky today. Again, we're not giving this victory back, though. We're not giving it back. We won. There's a W next to Nebraska's name. Hey, celebrate, guys. Celebrate and chat. We are 5-1 for the first time since 2016. One victory away from a bowl game for the first time since 2016. We have 6 games to win 1 game. That feels pretty good. So everybody celebrate for being 5-1. Definitely good vibes. Again, Indiana's going to be tough. They got a victory today. They're undefeated. I think they're going to a bye as well. So we play Indiana in 2 weeks in Bloomington. I don't think any of us thought they were going to be as close to as good as they are right now. That'll be a tough game. We have 2 weeks to talk about it. I'm just happy that we found a way to win and we have a good energy in this locker room for the next 2 weeks. Because I'm going to tell you what, if we lost this football game, Rutgers stormed back in this game and won. Holy cow. Negative energy would just be around the program for 2 weeks. That compounds. And then one thing leads to another. You lose to Rutgers, you lose to Indiana, you lose to Iowa State. That's a 3-game losing streak. Okay. So we had to avoid that by winning today, and we did just that. Again, it's just going to get harder from here, though, guys. It's just going to get harder. Indy has a good team. I don't know if you guys watched them today, but they're a very good team. They have a high-powered offense. They have a good quarterback. They have a good head coach. And then we already know what Ohio State is. I'm not expecting us to win that football game. But they're competing for a national title. So, we have 2 very tough games. We just don't have to worry about that, at least not next week. But I'm glad we won today because, again, that good energy is going to be all around this program. But I'm going to tell you this right now. We have no chance at beating Ohio State. We have no chance of beating Indiana if we cannot figure out our offense because our offense's inconsistency is horrendous. Again, last week it was in the first half. We couldn't score. This week it was in the second half. We couldn't score. Versus Illinois in the second half and in overtime. We just need to figure out these inconsistencies. I don't get it. It's a huge problem for Marcus Satterfield. Again, it's the same issue you had last year, and they just don't fix. It doesn't fix itself. So, yeah, it's really frustrating. Monty, appreciate a comment. He says this reminds me of Nebraska's 3-0 win at home against Baylor in the 80s. Wish I could remember that. Do not. But again, it was low scoring. It was boring, but we won. And we're not giving it back. Travis says, we had a flash of being a good team, but we seem to lack continuity. I'm eager to see a full game out of both sides of the ball, but our defense did enough today throughout. I agree. Again, the defense stepped up, and I felt bad for them. I felt bad for Tony White, rolling at his defense every single drive. Again, we've seen offense at its highs. We've seen defense at its highs. I want a game where both units play very, very well, play to their ceiling. And I want to see it versus Ohio State. I want to see it versus Indiana. And that's what it's going to take to win those ball games because we're playing with 2 really, really good teams. One thing I want to mention, we're going to be ranked tomorrow. I don't think you guys realize that. We didn't play good today, but they're going to rank us tomorrow because we are technically 27th in the polls right now. So we're the second. We have the second most votes of the teams who aren't ranked. They're going to rank us tomorrow. Just be prepared for that. Are we deserving of ranking? I don't think so, but they're going to rank us. That's just what's going to happen. I'd be very shocked if they don't. At least, and if they don't rank us somehow tomorrow, they're absolutely going to rank us the week after. So when we play Indiana and Bloomington, it will be a ranked-on-ranked battle. Just be ready for that, guys. Again, do we deserve to be ranked? It's up to you. Did we play like a ranked team today? No. Did we play like a ranked team in First Purdue? No. But we won. It's all that matters sometimes. It's all that matters. Let me get back here. 5-1 Husker National. Yeah, man. Just we're happy. We're happy to be 5-1. We're not giving this back. We're not giving it back. And we could have lost today. We could have lost perhaps even against Colorado if we didn't come out with our A game. But here we are, 5-1. It's been an easy schedule, but at least we're sitting here at 5-1. Nathan, appreciate your comment. He says Vincent Shavers was good. I'm actually comfortable with the future of the defense. Maybe a couple portal players and we good. Yeah, I'm comfortable with the future of the defense if Tony White stays. Now, if Tony White's gone and we have a new defensive coordinator, then I get a little bit concerned. But as long as Tony White's here, our defense is going to be a top 20 unit. As long as he's here, though. That's the big if. Bushidi should be quarterback 2 with that bowl of a pass. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that's funny. Rhule needs to improve footwork. Too many overthrown and underthrown passes. Yeah, he just doesn't step into his throws. He's too lackadaisical sometimes where he'll just try to sidearm it like he's Patrick Mahomes and it'll fall short. So, yeah, he needs to step into his throws more, go through his progressions. But, again, this offensive line does not do him any favors, especially in that second half. The D-line of Rutgers was getting to him in a split second, but Rhule was really, really bad today. I'm not going to sugarcoat. He had his highs, he had a lot of lows, and he had that interception, which was really poor. And that was a freshman moment. A freshman will make that mistake. But, again, we're trying to hold him a little bit to a different standard. The Rutgers continue to play the game with bad calls. What is it with Big Ten crews? It's unreal. Again, just like I told you guys last week, we always will have bad referees. Again, that's just the curse of being in the Big Ten. How can you overcome it? How can you overcome the bad calls? I thought the big problem with the refs, in my opinion, is just the fact they impose themselves in on the game. There's just a lot of tic-tac penalties that they called all throughout for both Rutgers and Nebraska. In my opinion, referee crews should only call things if it's egregious, completely egregious. Don't be throwing the flag every other play. So, yeah. Locker room is definitely better right now, Nathan says. Yeah, exactly. Again, it's winning this football game, although we didn't play good, and although I bet you a bunch of defensive players are not happy with the offense, it just gives you a lot of good energy going into the bye. That's important, okay? That good energy, that good confidence in the team, that's important, okay? That's going to translate to our practices over the next couple of weeks. That's going to translate to hopefully a victory over Indiana in a little while. Indiana scored 40-plus points again today. Yeah, they have a great offense. They have the best offense we've played so far this year, them in Colorado. So a very, very good offense. Just be prepared for it. This defense needs to step up, and this offense cannot perform like it did today. Just can't. First half of the season is over, and now we go into the second half. We need a week off, and it's time to buckle down. I agree with you, Vincent, man. I agree. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we're already halfway through. Absolutely nuts. 6 games already done for Nebraska. But technically, we're not halfway through because hopefully we're going to a bowl game, you know what I mean? And maybe even a Big Ten title game. Nah, that's not going to happen. But I'm hoping we get to a bowl game. I know we will. I feel like it comes down to Rhule. Rhule doesn't do great on game days. He's amazing every other day. Yeah, I don't think Matt Rhule is the best X's and O's head coach or the best game planning head coach. I truly don't. But what he does do well, he's a great disciplinary head coach, and I think he's great at talent development. That's a fact. But when it comes to out-scheming a opposing head coach, I don't think he does a great job because we just haven't seen it within 2 years so far. We really haven't. David says we needed this close win, gives our guys more confidence. I agree. Again, technically it was a one-score victory. I wouldn't put it in that category because we dominated them the entire game, especially defensively. But this is a story of we didn't do enough offensively to put the game away, so it looks like it was a one-score game. But really, it was never close. It was never close. Never should have been close. Indiana, man, I don't know about that game. We got no offense. Yeah, that we got no offense, and they got a great offense. So if I were to bet right now, Indiana's probably a 4-point favorite going to that. At least they should be. I don't know if I'm touching that line if I were one of you guys, but that's going to be a really, really tough game. George says James Williams, a star, is he a freshman? He is not a freshman. I want to say, I think he's a redshirt sophomore. He's a stud, though. Again, he's one of the best pass rushers on our team. He does this every now and then where he comes out of nowhere, gets like a game with 2 sacks. I think he had one earlier in the season with 2 sacks. So James Williams is a really good player. He's going to get more reps as the year progresses. Very, very, very good. My man Emerson says, Raiola looked like a freshman today, but there will be games like that. I agree. Again, there will be games where Raiola struggles. We didn't want to see it. I told you guys this in the offseason. There's going to be one game or maybe 2 games where Raiola really, really struggles. Today was that day. It's going to happen. Hopefully he gets better. He gets healthy. We see an improved version versus Indiana because that's going to be a big game. It's a must-win for this program. It's a must-win. But Let's celebrate, guys. Let's celebrate. And there's a lot of things to critique. We played really, really poor in a lot of aspects, but we beat an undefeated team today. Rutgers hadn't lost before today. Celebrate. And we're 5-1. Celebrate. Our defense played well. Celebrate. A lot of things to be happy about, despite playing poor in a lot of aspects. We won. We had an Iowa type win today. Yeah, I completely agree. Again, that's the way Iowa wins football games. Again, they have a bad offense. They stay in a game too long, even though they're way more talented than the opposing team, but they somehow win. That's what we did today. You should be able to challenge flags. Maybe, I mean, is it a good concept? Maybe, but I don't want to slow down games any further, right? We have a million media timeouts and a million challenges already. I don't know. That just slowed down the game more. Any information on the recruiting movement after this game? Noticed Omaha's a 5-star safety. Yeah, you're thinking of Tony Pittman. Again, that just recruitment's so far off, though. I mean, he's 2027. But as of right now, I put Nebraska the favorite. He's just not going to commit for another 2 years. So not any information. I'll dig into it after this ball game. We'll have a video probably next week talking about recruiting because we're going to be talking about a lot of recruiting over this bye week because there's no football to talk about. S. Redmond says Foley and Satterfield should go. I agree with you on Foley, Satterfield. I agree with you on both. I'm not going to lie. Really, really poor stuff. And Vincent Shavers makes a really good point here. He says that Matt Rhule is only as good as the assistant coaches. That is so true. So true. Okay. A head coach can be great, but if he has a bad surrounding core, it doesn't matter how good the head coach is. So, yeah, Matt Rhule, I believe, is a really good head coach, but his surrounding core is awful. And that falls on Matt Rhule because he hired those guys. He made that decision. So, now hopefully he can correct that decision and get rid of some of these dudes who shouldn't be here. Nick says, bring back Bill Bush. I would not be opposed, my man. I would not be opposed. Penalties surprisingly weren't terrible. I mean, I think we still want 5 or 6 in this ball game, so not great, but yeah, not as bad as what it was versus Purdue or versus Illinois. It didn't cost us the game because we won. Jackson says, bro, Ashton Genie is the best running back in football for Boise State. Yeah, the dude's a stud. I saw on Twitter he scored on his first touch. That dude should win Heisman. So Boise State's must watch football. He's one of the best running backs we've seen in a long time. Chris says, even though it was an ugly game, we were moving in the right direction. We should have lost this type of game last year. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Like, Scott Frost was the coach today. We would have found a way to lose. The defense wouldn't have played as well. We would have perhaps let Rutgers go down the field on that last drive, tied it up, go to overtime, and you know how we play in overtime. We would have lost. So, yeah, exactly. If we played this game in an alternate universe a couple years ago, we would have lost. So it shows a lot of development. Despite the fact that we played bad, we won. Our offense needs to find an identity. I agree with you, dude. That's the big problem with Marcus Satterfield, in my opinion, is that he's not consistent. The running game will work, and he'll go away from it on the exact same drive. There was one drive that pissed me off. We were running right down their throat. I want to say the second quarter. Don Dowd had a great drive. M. Johnson had a great drive. We get into Rutgers territory, and instantly he throws on first down. Incompletion on first down dooms the entire drive. So if someone's working, stick to it. He's so inconsistent, and we don't have an identity. What are we? We don't know. Brian says, it looks like Dylan's arm was tired or hurt. I think he could be a little banged up. Again, I was speculating on that. I'm not sure. But in general, again, we didn't play great on our offensive line. Our play calling wasn't good. We have a lot of issues. we need to clean up. Rory says, getting past that, oh, here we go again moment in the fourth quarter, finding a way to win a close game shows that Dr. Pepper. Yeah. And finding a way to win a close game shows that there has been some improvement. Getting past that mental hurdle is a huge win for us. Yeah, I agree, man. Again, just winning was important. Finding a darn way to win was important, and we did just that. We're 5-1. Like, I want to sit here and critique the team because I expect more of us, but we're 5-1, and that feels really good to say. Feels darn good to say, man. Really, 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 really good to be 5-1. And now a much needed bye week. We're not necessarily injured, which is the main thing you look for in a bye week. But again, we have a lot of things to fix on the special teams unit and offense, and that's where we start to hunker down and try to fix that. But we're relatively healthy too. Like, Tommy Hill's gonna be back for the Indiana game. I think Jordan Corcoran's gonna be back, maybe for UCLA, maybe for Ohio State. So we should be all right. Man. I'm just happy that we finally have a bye week. Like, this bye week is much, much needed. It's at a really good time. Can't wait to see how good Vincent gets a year or two under his belt. Yeah, Vince Shaver's going to be a stud, man. Absolutely stud. Again, he played well today.
Played well today. So, again, appreciate Vincent Shavers and his pops. Bushini game ball. Yeah, again, Bushini MVP for Nebraska along with James Williams, along with Sierra Wright, along with John Bullock. All those guys get game balls. Nobody on the offense. Offense has a walk home. Offense gets no love today, man. They played awful. Marcus Stafford gets no love. Just really, really poor. Our defense showed up and was able to get us off the field on 3rd down and 4th down. Oh, appreciate you, Brasco. Rascal, you reminded me. Well, you guys want to know what Rutgers was on 3rd down? They were 2 of 14. Rutgers was 2 of 14 on 3rd down. Absolutely ridiculous. Great job by Nebraska. I mean, it was just a complete wizardry game by Tony White. That dude is a stud. Again, he should be a head coach. He really should. That guy, we're just lucky to have him here. But this defense was phenomenal, man. Really, really phenomenal today. Okay, and we shut down the rushing attack as well. Like Kyle Monagai had a couple big runs every now and then, but in general, we were good. We were really, really good. How did they score? Because I didn't see. So Rutgers, how did they score? Oh yeah, they had a tip touchdown pass to the end zone. That was it was kind of crazy. It was a crazy play, but yeah, that's how they got it. It was a little play in the flat. But what's interesting, this is an interesting stat that I just saw on Twitter by Pick Six Previews. Nebraska is the only team in college football to not give up a rushing touchdown this year. That's pretty nuts. And honestly, here's the biggest thing. Here's the biggest thing. The biggest play or the biggest drive that defined this defense for me was when they blocked that punt. Rutgers was on the 1 yard line on a 1st down, and we had 6 or 7 consecutive plays because there was a penalty that gave them another 1st down where we held them back. They lost yardage, and we didn't give up a score. That's where this defense defined itself as one of the best in college football. So that was great. This defense in general, so many really, really, really good reps. But my only con is that they were on the field too much because our offense didn't do them any favors. That was the only con today, guys. Do you think Nebraska sneaks back in the top 25? Yes. I imagine we're going to be ranked tomorrow around 25. I very well predict it. Is Boom Sheedy our best player? Hey, man. I think he might be. I'm a Washington Commanders fan, and our punter Tress Way has been our best player for like the last 7 years. So it's not always a bad thing for your punter to be your best player. But yeah, Boom Shitty stud. I'm just glad he's having a good year because he was great in 2022. He was terrible last year, and he's back to being great this year. So I'm just happy he's balling out. If you're thrilled with being 5-1, can't wait to see your reaction 2 weeks. Go Big Red. That's assuming we win, man. It's assuming we win. But, again, we have a test. India is a really good team. Ohio State's a really good team. There's a possibility where we lose 2-3 straight. Hope it doesn't happen. Hope it doesn't happen, man. Let's see. Dallas says, imagine if our D played this well against Illinois, then we'd be undefeated. But, we could have this if this happened. Doesn't matter. We didn't play very well versus Illinois. And, our offense showed up versus Illinois. Our defense didn't. Today, our offense didn't show up, but our defense did. So that's football sometimes. We got to just figure it out. We got to figure out both units in the exact same game, and then we're going to be blowing out teams 24/7. PFF going to have a field day in reducing the grades of the Rutgers offensive line. Yeah, their O-line, they played really well in that first drive, and then after that, not great. Speaking of Pro Football Focus, you know who's going to have a really bad day tomorrow on Pro Football Focus when the grades come out? Isaac Gifford. I cannot tell you how many missed tackles Isaac Gifford had again. I don't know what the problem is there because he was our best tackler last year. He would bring down anybody. But I remember, I want to say it was a second drive Rutgers had. Gifford missed 2 tackles in the span of 3 plays. I don't know what the issue is with him, but if he's not a good tackler, he doesn't really provide you too much because he's not great in coverage. He's not great in man. So Isaac Gifford, he's going to have another bad day according to Pro Football Focus. But in general, the defense played good. I'm not going to blame Isaac Gifford, but that was just something I was really annoyed with. Bradley says, Satterfield is good enough to get us to a bowl game. He will never be good enough to win a conference championship or a playoff game. I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. You couldn't have said it better. And again, that's the big question for Matt Rhule. How good do you want to be? Do you want to only win bowl games or do you want to compete for national titles? And Marcus Satterfield isn't a great recruiter either, so it doesn't really give you too much. Will Matt Rhule make the big call and fire one of his buddies? Time will tell. I don't know how Dilla did not see the player who jumped up and intercept that pass. Yeah, again, I don't think he saw over the offensive line. That was just the problem there. I think he saw a man open, He threw a pass that he shouldn't have thrown, and there you go. But nothing. I mean, he had a bad game. I'm not worried about it going forward because he's just so talented, and I think he he's so smart and he's dedicated to the process. It's not like he only shows up on Saturdays. Like he works hard every single day of the week. So I feel really confident in him again bouncing back because I know he's going to put in the work. Never mind me, says Bushi put that ball on a dime. Yeah, that dude. I don't know if he played quarterback in high school or something, but that was a really good pass. And again, it was gutsy, man. Because if we did not have that completion, we could have lost the football game. Really could have. But it worked out, and we're not giving it back. Dallas says Gifford and Buford are liabilities. Yeah, I try not to blame Buford too much because I think he was just gassed. But Gifford played really poor when he wasn't gassed. So I don't get it with Gifford. He's had a really bad year in general. Like it was something that I saw versus Purdue, versus Illinois. Like he just really is not playing great from a guy that we thought might be one of the better defenders in the country. So I don't get it. But I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about the defense after how well they played today. But it's just something I noted I wanted to mention. Bushini is putting the integrity in the kicker by showing that they can do more than kick the ball. Yeah, Bushini's telling us that special teams players are real athletes. We should treat them as such. They're real football players. As bad as Gifford has been playing, he is a leader. Oh, I agree with you, man. I'm pretty sure he calls the defense with the mic and the helmet. Just tough to see him struggling at the only thing he's supposed to be good at. Yeah, again, he couldn't have said it much better. He's a leader, but he was talking. I'm sure you guys watched those Chasing 3 videos that the Huskers put out. And all offseason, he was going at some of the younger players on those videos and saying, I'm not losing this year. You can't have that mindset. I get he's being a leader, but you can't have that mindset if you're not playing good yourself. And he just hasn't showed up and played well. So, I don't know. I'm going to absolutely get into the film over the bye week and watch him specifically because I've just been really disappointed. Jackson says, please watch the game again, see how many times Buford was locking down. He almost had 2 picks and a tip pass. I agree that Buford is a liability. Yeah, no, I thought Buford actually had a really, really good game. It was just one drive he was terrible. It was one drive. He was gassed. He gave up that big play down the field. Then he gave up a holding penalty, and then he gave up another big play down the field that should have been a touchdown for Rutgers, but the wide receiver hit the ball hit his helmet. We got lucky. We got bailed out there. But, yeah, I thought other than that, Buford had a really good game. But that drive was terrible for him. New Bill says, put Bazooka in the game, coach. Yeah, our offensive line got no push again. But Mazuka did get some snaps. It was only on, like, 3rd downs, though, when we were going heavy in I form. Mazuka needs to start, though, because he's the best offensive lineman on this team, period. He needs to play. Bradley says, really wish our offense and defense would should both show up to play for a game. I agree. And they need to show up for Indiana. They need to show up for Ohio State if we want to win. It's a big if. But I think the biggest thing that's holding us back, special teams holding us back, that's never going to get better. And Satterfield's holding us back. That's not going to get better either. Wood, once Nebraska starts winning, it will be easier to bring in great assistants because no one else wants to go to a bad team and end their career. I agree with you, but that only happens if you fire a guy. I don't think Matt Rhule at the end of the day is going to fire anybody because that's just the coach he is. He's loyal to a fault. Scott Frost is loyal to a fault as well. So there are some issues there. ESPN giving us a 26% chance against Indiana. Yeah, that's about right. I think that's perfect. Again, Indiana's a good team. Let's give them respect. Let's give them really good respect because they're undefeated. They're ranked. They're the best team we played so far. Again, this schedule's been really easy. Only going to get harder for here. It's just, is Indiana really that good? Indiana's better than us. They've shown to be better than us, and they have a really good offense. So that's one thing you can take to the bank. Now, are they a top 15 team? Probably not. Are they a top 20 team? Probably not. But they win football games, and they have a really good head coach who's brand new. So we need to be worried about Indiana. We should be worried about them. Josh says, I like that we have so many running backs, but the staff needs to figure out who to play and make it a lot tough. But I feel like it was more of a Dowdle power day. Yeah, no, Dowdle had a really good day. I thought Ramir had some good bursts at times. Emmett just whenever Emmett was in the ballgame, the offensive line had no push. Like he wasn't getting any favors from this offensive line. So the running game really, really poor. And as Rory says, our offensive game has gotten way too predictable. I agree. We need more stretch plays. Like we need to go through the C gap more. We're always trying to go in between the tackles, go through the A B gaps. We have no plays that really go horizontally, that extend the field. We have no sweeps. We have no pitches. We have none of that. We have no stretches. So we need to really add some more to that to the playbook. But I think our running game is not terrible at times. The passing game has no life. I hate our pass concepts. Really, really hate them. Like, I don't know what Mark Satterfield has to do, like get some plays on Madden or something, because his play calls are awful. And the slip screens were working in the first half. Like I told you guys yesterday, if I was Marcus Satterfield, I'd go to those slip screens. And that's exactly what he did. Like we went to a lot of those slip screens in the first half, and it worked. Then it stopped working because Rutgers figured them out, and we continued to go to them. We got to adjust, and we just haven't shown the ability to adjust. Steven says, we won. Exactly, man. Like, we can be critical, and that's all fine and dandy. By the end of the day, we're 5-1. We won. Let's be happy. Let's celebrate. Dallas says, Emmett missed a few big holes. Like, yeah, he didn't play great. I don't think it was entirely his fault because the offensive line was really, really bad, especially in the running game. But in Emmett, I think Emmett only averaged like 2 yards per carry. So, yeah, I don't know. Emmett's just a really weird case. Like, when he starts, he doesn't play that good. But when he's not starting, he plays great. I don't know what the issue is there. Mazuka looked like he was having a lot of fun on the sideline. Didn't notice if he got any snaps, though. Are you being sarcastic? Mazuka did get snaps, though. He was in on, like, third downs. He was in on the I-form plays. Every single one. He was at tight end, basically. So he was like an extra lineman on the field. What the heck happened to Cameron Lenhard? He was a stud last year and the start of the season, but he's getting phased out or something. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I have not noticed Cameron Lenhard at all, really. I just think this defensive line's a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper. And we're also not playing teams that really pass the football that much. So we're not getting the quarterback that much. We don't have that many sacks because they're not throwing the football. But, yeah, Cameron Lenhard's not getting as many reps as he should. Interesting. I think Principal and Mambielum's not getting enough, not getting enough stats, because he's super, super talented. But I'm not worried about Cameron Lenhard. I'm not worried about it. Yes, the most important thing is to adjust. We must adjust on offense. Yeah, and we just haven't shown the ability to do so. That's the one thing that I just hate about Mark Satterfield. We make no adjustments. And we always come out of the second half. We always come out and have a 3-and-out to begin the second half. Every single time, like clockwork. What are we doing at halftime? What are we doing? I don't know. But we won. The defense figured it out. But, again, if you want to win 7, 8, 9, 10 games, we should be a little bit concerned about this offense and Marcus Satterfield. And we should be definitely concerned about special teams because it's not doing us any favors, man. Special teams is not doing us any favors. Josh says, Mazuka was celebrating with everybody on the sideline. Genuinely looked like he was happy to be back. I noticed that Principal wasn't celebrating with the team. He might be on transfer watch next year. Yeah, okay, so Mazuka, I think Mazuka's a good dude. Like, I try to tell you guys this. Like, so I was on the phone with Mazuka's dad, I want to say on Monday, because he just called me to tell me what's going on. Reached out to me and whatever. And I'm not going to tell you guys what that phone call entailed because it would look bad for Nebraska. But basically, like, Mazuka's like a really good kid. Like, he's an introvert. He's not like this rah-rah guy that we portray him as. Mazuka's like an introvert. But what he is he's emotional. So if you get in his face, he's going to give you something back. But as for Principal being on transfer watch, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I really wouldn't be surprised. I want to sit here and tell you that I think he's going to stay. But Principal is, number one, super talented, so I think schools will throw money at him. And number two, I don't think he loves Nebraska. Like, he's a kid coming in from Florida. Like, a lot of these kids, they have a tough time transitioning to the good life. I thought he might transfer last offseason. So we'll see there. Again, that's not something I'm worried about right now, though. We'll have the conversation in 2 months. Do the coaches have a problem with putting the game away? I think we absolutely do. We had this problem versus Colorado. We had this problem versus Northern Iowa. We had this problem versus Illinois. We had this problem versus Purdue. We do have a problem. It stems with offensive play calling. That's the big problem there. It's the big problem. I agree. Princeton looked very happy in the last play. And again, I also think Principal should be getting a lot more reps than he is. He's super talented. He's better than MJ Sherman, in my opinion. So I'd be mad if I were him too. But I think there's a lot of time between then and now where he enters the portal. Hopefully we switch his mind. Hopefully he gets back into good mojo. Like, he's super talented, man. Like, he's a future first-round draft pick, in my opinion. He's so talented, so good. Jackson says, did I rarely see Carter Nelson out there today, or am I tripping? You're not tripping. I mean, Carter Nelson wasn't out there, but we didn't need him to be out there. Like, I mean, in general, the passing offense was not great, and he's a true freshman, so he didn't need to be out there. Dallas says, was nice to see the I form again. Yeah, I was calling for him, man. Like, whenever you're within 2 yards getting a first down, go to the I form. Never go in the shotgun because his offensive line's not good enough to hold up in shotgun, man. Really is not. But in general, we got the win today, man. It was good to see. Let's give my offensive and defensive MVPs for Nebraska. Defensive MVPs, James Williams. I want to give it to C here, but James was phenomenal. Got a lot of good pass rush. And then on the offensive side of the football, I mean, who is your guys' offensive MVP? Because there's really nobody there, man. I mean, I can't tell you a single person on offense. There will be no offensive MVP this week. It was just a joke. It was a joke. Maybe Jamal Banks. I thought Jamal Banks had a couple of nice catches. Or Ramir. But those are like pity awards. Like, they didn't play great, but they're the only guys who played decent. The offense was phenomenal. Or not phenomenal. Horrific. Horrific. The defense was phenomenal. So those are my game balls. Let me know. What do you guys think here? Dow I thought, yeah, Dowdle was okay. He should have been in the game a lot more, in my opinion. Latufsky or Evans were doing well on some pull action. I thought they were okay. Justin Evans has not had a great year. Rutgers MVP Ed Foley. Yeah, man, Ed Foley was keeping them in that ball game along with Marcus Satterfield. Like Greg Schiano should give those boys a call tonight and just thank them for keeping them in that ball game, because if Ed Foley and Marcus Satterfield were not on the sideline, we probably would have won this game by a couple touchdowns. Yeah, but again, we didn't play great, but we won, and that's a positive development. Though I'm happy about that. I'm happy we got the victory at the end of the day. Yeah. Bradley says redshirt Carter Nelson. We need him later. I don't know if we can redshirt him. I think he might have already played in 5 games, so I think he's already burned it. So that's concerning. I think Banks only got 1 catch. I want to say he had 2. But I do remember his 1 catch was huge. It was a critical, I want to say 3rd down. So, I mean, there's just nobody on this offense deserves it, man. Nobody. No offensive lineman deserves it either, just how badly they were in the run game. There was only 1 really good run play that I remember. It was a counter. And, yeah, we had a little bit of a pull. And I want to say Emmett went through, or I think it might have been Ramir. He went through the B gap. But other than that, man, offensive line for. We have a lot to fix. We have a lot to fix. One. At least we won. At least, and now we can sit here and watch all the games tonight, and watch NFL tomorrow, and watch all the games next week. At least be positive because Nebraska got the victory. All right, guys, I don't want to hold you guys here too much longer. Let me know your final thoughts around Nebraska getting it done today, 14-7 in an ugly Big Ten football game. Again, it wasn't pretty. We didn't play well. We didn't execute well, but we won, and that's the most important thing. There's a W by Nebraska's name. So let me know your final thoughts. Put them in the comment section. Again, appreciate all you guys. Make sure to like the stream. Really would help me out. Again, I'll get to all your final comments, so make sure to put them in there. If you're someone watching this, please subscribe. Would help me out a lot. But again, put your final thoughts in the comment section. We'll get to them. Nebraska gets it done 14-7. Good victory. Defense showed out. The defensive line showed out. Secondary showed out. And we won. We won. Visitors, how can I rewatch the game? Well, there's going to be highlights posted on YouTube pretty soon. But other than that, you just had to DVR it. So you can't really rewatch unless you did DVR it. All right, guys, I don't think there's any more comments. I won't have any more of your guys' time. Have a good night, everybody. Nebraska gets it done. I'll be back with a video soon, recapping the game tomorrow. Rewatch it tonight. We'll have a lot more videos going to the bye. Dallas' last comment says, "End of the day, it's a win. We could have been like Bama or Mizzou. A win is a win. You're darn right, Dallas. We're 5-1. Celebrate. Let's have a good night, everybody, because Nebraska gets it done and wins. Not a pretty game, but a win's a win, and that is what let's celebrate. So 5-1. Football. Make sure for New Year, And that'll be it for me, everybody. Appreciate you guys as always. I'll see you in the next.